Hello everyone, Mr. Geislard here, and we're going to take a look at the law of cosines. Now, the law of cosines is stated in front of you here, goes along with what we were talking about with the law of sines, that you have a triangle where the angles are labeled capital A, capital B, capital C, and the opposite sides are lowercase a, lowercase b, and lowercase c, and then the formula is given to you there. Now again, you can do it using any of the angles A, B, or C as long as you have some information to go along with them, which we'll discuss in a second. Okay, when do you use the law of cosines? There's really only two specific situations. First of all, it cannot be a right triangle. So the first thing is it has to be a non-right triangle. If it's a right triangle, then you're just going to either use SOHCAHTOA or the Pythagorean theorem. The second thing is there's two situations, and they're both here for you. The first situation is that you're given two sides and the included angle. Now, it's very important that we say the included angle. By included angle, I mean the angle that makes up the two given sides. In this case, it's 60 degrees. So you will use it then. Now, depending on what you decide to call angle A, B, C, that's going to be how you label the opposite sides. So the side opposite of angle A is A, side opposite angle B is B, and the side opposite of angle C is C. So if you chose to do it this way, you would use this formula on top because we're given angle A. If we were given angle B, then we'd use the next formula. If we were given angle C, then we'd use the next formula. If you notice, they're all the same. It's basically the side squared that you're looking for is equal to the other side squared plus the other side squared minus 2 times the other side times the other side times the cosine of the given angle. Now, the other situation that you'll see is if you're given all three sides. If you're given all three sides, then you can find an angle. Now, in this case, if we call this angle A, this angle B, and this angle C, that means that this side over here is little b, this side is little a, and this side is little c. So in this case, since we're looking for angle B, I would use this middle formula. Okay, again, it really doesn't matter which one you're using, which one you're starting from, as long as you use it so that you're subtracting the right number, because it does matter which one is A, B, and C over here, because notice that we're subtracting B but adding A and C, and on bottom it's just A and C. So make sure that you have it labeled correctly and make sure you're using the correct numbers when you do that. And now let's take a look at a couple of examples. In this example, we're trying to find a side. Notice that we're given two sides in the included angle. Now, again, it doesn't matter which one we call A, B, and C, but that means this is little a, that means this is little b, and that means this is little c. So in this case, since I'm looking for side A, I would use the top equation. So it looks something like this. A squared is equal to b squared, so that's 55 squared, plus c squared, which is 35 squared, minus 2 times b, which is 55, times c, which is 35, times the cosine of 66. Now, you're going to want to put this all into your calculator at once. You don't want to hit equals after any of these. And a lot of times when people do that, they get stuff messed up in here with this minus and the order of operations. So just make sure that when you do this, you put this all in your calculator at once. When you do that, you're going to end up with 2,684.06. Now, that's a squared. Make sure you take the square root of that to get the answer for a, which will be 51.81. Okay, now let's take a look at an example where you're going to try and find a missing angle if you're given all three sides. So again, it doesn't matter which angle we call which. Let's call this one A, let's call this one B, and call this one C. If I'm looking for angle B, that means I'm going to use this formula. Remember, the side opposite of angle B is B, the side opposite of angle C is C, and the side opposite of angle A is A. So it's going to look something like this. The cosine of B is equal to A squared plus C squared minus B squared divided by 2 times A times C, like that. Now, unlike the previous problem where I said to put it in your calculator all at once, this one you should really put your calculator the top and then do the calculator for the bottom. So if you do the top, so 120 squared plus 95 squared minus 105 squared, that equals 12,400. Then if you do the bottom, you're going to end up with 22,800. Now, this might end up to be a negative answer sometimes, and that's okay for it to be negative. There's nothing wrong with that. So really what we have right now is the cosine of b is equal to this fraction. Well, since we're trying to find an angle, that's where we need to do the inverse cosine. So what we would do here is say the angle B is equal to the inverse cosine of 12,400 divided by 22,800. So you're going to put it in your calculator just like that. When you do that, that will equal 57 degrees. So I'm going to put 57 degrees in there, and that will be my answer.